We did it! Episode 100 of the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show. I know I said yesterday it was going to be the last episode of the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show because that name is ridiculous. But for the 100th episode, we got to keep it the same. So, holy shit, we made it. Here we are. Episode 100. I made the commitment 100 days ago to do one podcast episode every single day for 100 days straight for no other reason than to get better at speaking, to get better at getting uncomfortable and being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, putting myself in situations where I have to come up with something to talk about. I have to get better at articulating my thoughts so that I can hopefully convey a message to somebody that they can easily grasp and understand what I'm saying. I'm not perfect at it by any means, but 100 episodes ago, I was dog shit, and now I'm less dog shit. And actually what's crazy is I was listening to a podcast today. It was Chris Williamson and Alex Hormozy. If you don't know who either of those two people are, I highly suggest you look into it. But I was listening to an older podcast that came out a year or two ago. And one of the statistics that Chris Williamson shared on the show was, I don't want to misquote this, however, I'm going to butcher it because I don't remember the exact number, but it said something, a certain percentage of people who start a podcast never make it past episode 3. And of those 99% who do, or whatever the percentage was, 99% never make it past episode 20. And so being past episode 21 puts you in the 1 percentile, or whatever the hell it is. I don't want to misquote. And part of the rules, which I'll get into in a minute because this is going to be an ultimate recap of the last 99. One of the rules is I can't edit or put anything in or whatever. There can't be, I can't take this, put it in, put a voiceover, do this, make it this, edit this, whatever. It's kind of like, and I'll explain the rules in a minute, but that's what he said. And I heard that and I thought, holy shit, man, we're on episode 100 today. 100 straight. 100 episodes that are 20. Okay, I'm going to get into the rules right now. It's going to be kind of all over the place. I'm not that organized, but I do have a laundry list of things that I do plan on talking about. And in my head, this is going to be the longest show I've ever recorded. But who knows? Because I'm just going to run with it. I'm going to let it flow. Whatever I say is what I say. So, the rules of the show. And it's so crazy. It's nostalgic because I literally made these rules 100 days ago. So, the rules of the show, I'm going to pull up exactly what I wrote. I'm going to read it word for word, what I wrote down exactly 100 days ago. So the rules of the podcast. I cannot tell a single person about the first 100 episodes. Rule number 2, I must record solo, no guests or bullshitting, just myself. Rule number 3, each episode must be a minimum of 20 minutes long. Rule number 4, must have a lesson or valuable takeaway from each episode. And I did my best to make that happen. I'm sure some episodes there was not that. But I did make a conscious effort to make that happen. So, little side note there. Rule number 5, commitment to 5 podcasts uploaded per week on Spotify. And that's what I wrote then, but now we're on a dozen different platforms now, which is very cool. Rule number 6, no edits or cuts unless shit. Meaning, unless I got to blow ass, dude, podcast goes on. And I think there was an early episode where it just kept cutting for some reason. It kept on stopping recording, I guess. And during that time also is when I had to piss so bad. So I had to drive back into my shop at work, go pee, come back out, and then it stopped again. And I don't know. But so those were the rules of the show. And I'm also going to read word for word what I wrote 100 days ago. The purpose of podcast episodes below 100. I wrote that word for word, and here is the reason, and I'm going to share some of the goals I had for the show as well. So, purpose of podcast episodes below 100. So, I'm doing this for myself in order to get better at articulating my thoughts, communicating my ideas effectively, and speaking to masses of people. I'm doing this for myself, but on the flip side, I'm doing this to prove to not only myself, but others in the future that you can do it too. You just have to start. You just have to start now, and you have to start with imperfect action, and you just figure it out along the way. And this is documentation of my journey from level 0 to level 1 million, proving that you can start with very little to no experience or, quote unquote qualifications to serve as inspiration to, again, not only myself, but other people in the future. The goal is to be at a certain level of performance, have others inspired and ask how I did it, and then me refer them back to these first 100 episodes where I was talking to 0 people for months straight, but I kept going anyway because I was committed and I kept the promise that I made to myself, as well as to serve as inspiration to others and to serve as a reminder to myself that because I just decided to start, I got to where I am today, which is in the context of years from now. Because hopefully, if you're listening to this episode right now, it's 2029 or some shit, and I've made something of myself, even a little bit, to where you know that I'm not full of shit, and this is daily documentation, and, you know, I made it. While I'm making it, I'm going along the way. I made that up along the way. And then, final one here, to stop saying and like. And I've already said maybe a dozen times on this specific show already. But I'm so hyper aware of when people say like and so and other buzzwords now that everybody says kind of nonstop, like literally, definitely, actually, immediately. And I'm so hyper aware of when people just say literally for literally. And it's just crazy. But anyway, that's what I wrote. That's why I'm doing the podcast. And I want to hit that. Well, I got so many things I want to talk about in the show, and there's no time limit here. I'm sitting in my car in the middle of a park near my house, just sitting here. Got my phone mounted to my car. It's a little magnet mount. Game changer, by the way. And here we are, just recording the podcast. My phone battery is actually really low, so hopefully it doesn't die mid-podcast. That would really be horrible, actually. But anyway, I had those rules of the show because I didn't want to just hop on here, do 2 minutes of bullshitting, and just, I made some rules for myself that I had to follow that would make it more difficult for me to get it done. There's plenty of times where I did the show laying in bed, or where I'd be in bed thinking, yeah, I can't wait to go to sleep. And then it hits me that I didn't record a show today. And then in that moment, what the fuck do I even talk about? I'm in bed, I'm half asleep. What do I talk about? How do I do this for 20 minutes? You know what I mean? How do I give some kind of lesson or takeaway to the people listening in the future? How do I do that now? And that happened plenty of times. There's also plenty of times where, and this is a big one for me, I'm still very insecure about it, and it's a work in progress, but recording the podcast in my room with my nice microphone, with my laptop, with my setup, with my soundproof little egg carton things on a wall, whatever, and the quality is infinitely better. I'm very insecure of my family hearing me. And truth be told, it has nothing to do with the rules of the show. It has nothing to do with not letting anybody know, which, that is, I guess, technically part of it, but it's a very small percentage. I'm just very uncomfortable and insecure with people, especially in my house, hearing me talk about what's going on, because I'm stepping way out of my comfort zone. This is a big accomplishment for me, and I don't think anybody can truly appreciate the fact that I did 100 episodes except for myself and other people who aspire to do a similar thing, because as far as anybody else is aware or concerned, or even if they even give a fuck, it's just talking. But it's talking about things that people, generally speaking, have no affiliation with, right? And what I mean by that is, so success-driven individuals are, by default, a microscopic minority in the world. And I guess what I mean by that is the discipline required, the resilience, the willpower, everything that comes with that desire and pursuit of a higher, more prosperous, more fulfilling, abundant life. People don't possess those qualities or traits or skills. They're actually skills. They're perishable as well. That's why you got to work on them daily. Shit, even hourly. Fuck, So putting this out there, and especially with the content that I'm talking about here, which let's actually dive into that right now. We're already all over the fucking place, so let's just dive into that. The purpose of this show, moving forward, and in the last 99 episodes, is to document my journey, my day-to-day journey, through the Live Hard program, which is designed by Andy Frisella, which is known as 75 Hard. 75 Hard is the boot camp to the Live Hard program, which is a year long. You do 75 Hard, it's 75 days. At any point, you can do phase 1, which is 30 days. It's got a different set of rules. You follow them, and it's very difficult. Then you have phase 2. It's another 30 days. Same thing as 75 Hard, but it's only 30 days. Then you have the final phase, phase 3, year-long Live Hard program. You must do it in the last 30 days of the year in which you started 75 Hard. So if you start on July 1st, then you would have to do phase 3 of the next year on June 1st. And if you fail the whole year. You can't go back, because if you fail and you restart on day 1, you'd be going to the next year. Therefore, it's a fail, and therefore it doesn't count. And my phone is for sure gonna die, dude. That is so upsetting. I'll give it hell, guys. I'll give it my best. But anyway, it's to document that journey, because ultimately 75 Hard changed my entire life. And I've already talked about this so many times on this show. But it is so corny when people say that cliche shit of, oh, it changed my life. Oh, this changed my whole, I can't believe I lived life without, wow, it just so changed my life. You know, people say that shit about everything all the time. It's so thrown around. But there really is no other way to put it. My life changed because of 75 Hard and following the program. My life was one way before, and now it's a different way after. I used to have a set of habits before, now I have a set of habits after. I used to see the world from this point of view, now I see it from a different point of view. I used to think this about myself, and now I think this about myself. It changed my life. It changed my perspective. It changed my goals. It changed my everything, my outlook on everything. And I don't mean everything as in like everything, but like every single thing. How you do one thing is how you do all things. Discipline's the key to happiness and self-fulfillment. Willpower, sculpting that just... some buzzwords. Here we go. We're going to check them off. Ready? Sculpting and developing and forging the endurance, the grit, the fortitude, perseverance, self-esteem, the self-confidence, everything that comes with that, the discipline, the willpower, resilience, all that shit those are all perishable skills. And I learned that very well from Andy Frisella himself. Andy Frisella is the creator of the Live Hard program. Just said that, but he speaks a lot about it, and I've listened to him forever. And the program changed my life. I don't know how else to say it. It's cliche to say, and people throw that shit around all the time, but it changed my life. It changed everything about how I operate. And hopefully, I've made such an influence on my family that I'm living with that they can attest to that. But even if they couldn't, I don't give a fuck, because it's about me doing it for me and not the opinions of others. However, I have been told, which is very humbling, that the pursuit that I'm in right now to being better has inspired other people to also be better. And that's probably one of the greatest compliments I could ever get, which, again, is very humbling. So, anyway, it's a documentation. See, we're already way off track, man. This is going to be a wild show, but it's we made it, man, and I'm just proud of myself. Finally accomplished this. So, it's a daily documentation of me going through the Live Hard program. So, I documented a little bit of 75 Hard, I believe. Yeah, that was part of it, right? I can't even remember. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't even remember, dude. So, yeah, I completed 75 Hard in the podcast. Did I? No, I didn't. What the fuck, dude? 100 days ago? 3? I don't even know, man. But I did start phase 1. Failed it on day 25. Started again a week later. Completed it. Now I'm a month away. Yeah, that's right. That's what happened. Now I'm a month. Yeah, so anyway. Now I'm about to start phase 2 here really whenever I want, because there's a minimum 30-day gap between phase 1 and phase 2 that you have to wait. And there's reasons for that. I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of the program itself. Might go over some of 75 Hard, but I can start phase 2 whenever. So I'm going to be documenting that here soon. And so anyway, it's a daily... Fuck, man, we're way off. Okay, let's get dialed in. Phone's going to die, right? Daily documentation of the Live Hard journey through all 3 phases, through the 75 Hard program, as well as, in which, if you listen to the show, you'll know, I have read a few books, got some ideas, been inspired by a few authors to start my own business, and I'm just running with one of the earliest ideas I had, which is a supplement company. And that's what I'm rolling with. And the idea with that is to get into the game, to learn the game. And by the game, I mean business. I mean entrepreneurship. And I mean real business, real entrepreneurship. Because if you want to be technical here, I've had my own business 5 or 6 times. And there was the I guess I'm speaking gibberish. There was the fitness and nutrition coaching business that I ran for maybe 2 years. I never pushed myself. I was very lazy, and I'm very embarrassed to say that that was kind of a failure, because that was kind of my identity. I was the fitness guy. So I ran that. I relaunched it again, but I'm going to count that as one. I have my videography business where I did that for free a lot of the time, but I gained a lot of eyes, some views in the Salt Lake City area, and I was able to make maybe $5,000 doing that. Nothing massive, but I was able to do it, and I loved it. It was a lot of fun. I love the creative aspect. I love the creativity that it brings me. And then I had photography, and I did photography, and I, again, love the creative aspect. I did it for some friends and family. Probably made $5,000 from that total as well. Maybe. I mean, that's being exaggerative, honestly. And then we had graphic design. I did a little bit of graphic design, and that was very short-lived because I'm not artistic in the sense that I could just think of a cartoon and draw it perfectly and make it look nice. I'm more of the shapes and geometric, lining up of things and putting things together, blank space, just putting things together that are already drawn up and made, and maybe adding my touch to it or doing something. But I love that shit so much. So I did that for a little bit. And then we had, what was the other thing? Gosh damn it. There was one more thing. I can't remember what it was. What was it? I don't know. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so I've had some attempts. I've had some experience in the idea or the pursuit, I guess, of running some kind of business that generates revenue with the intent to quit my job. And I did quit my job at one point. Quit my job, went all in on the fitness coaching. But again, was lazy, didn't put in the effort, and I bitched out and was a weak. I was just weak. I let my excuses get me. I was lazy, and I wasn't in it for any other reason than to make money, which was something that I always knew was at least 80% true. And as a result, here I am now. I'm not affiliated with coaching at all. Anyway. So it's a daily documentation of Live Hard, as well as building my first business, and that's a supplement company. At the moment, it's just one product. It's not even a company yet, and it probably won't launch until August because I'm bootstrapping the whole thing, and I'm working 2 jobs to make it all happen. And I even just found out today that I'm going to be working every other Sunday, so I'm only going to have 2 days off per month. And I don't have to pay rent right now. I have no reason to be doing this. I'm not financially struggling. I don't have to work 2 jobs. I mean, I don't even have to work one. I don't have to pay for rent. I mean, I pay for all my things, like my bills, my phone, all that shit, right? But I did have an incredible opportunity because I just moved back from Colorado in July to move in with my uncle and stay with him while I kind of got settled again, because moving from here, Utah, northern Utah, to St. George, Utah, which is about 4 miles south of where I live now, and then moving from there to Phoenix, Arizona, and then moving again from downtown Phoenix to northern Phoenix, which is pretty much Glendale, where I was living, and then moving from there to Parker, Colorado, and then moving from there to West Haven, Utah, in the span of 2 years. I broke my lease a few times, and I paid for it each time because I didn't want to stay where I was at, and so that put me in debt quite a bit, put me about $9,000 back. And do I regret it? Not at all. It sucks that I have to pay that back, and it doesn't suck that I have to pay it back. It's fair because I took it. It sucks that I'm $9,000 in debt because now it's going to take me a little bit of time to get out of that. But again, that's why I have the 2 jobs, and I'm working now every single day except 2 days per month. And I take a lot of pride in that because not a lot of people are willing to do that. And I don't know, but I don't really even want to make the statement, but I would go as far to say that people who don't have to pay rent and don't have to do the shit that I'm going to do or want to do would even consider doing that at all. I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to work a part-time job. which is FedEx. So I've already talked about it, but I work a rotating schedule at my full-time job, Hill Air Force Base, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off, and the next week, Monday through Friday. So I get every other Friday off, but I fill that with FedEx ground delivery drivering, nice. And every Saturday is FedEx as well. Through peak season, which is December, I worked every Sunday as well. So I didn't have a single day off in December. I took a lot of pride in that as well. But now I'm going to be working every other Sunday. And that's a whole other thing. I'm figuring out the details now. But that's just to get more money and to expedite the process of building this business and to get out of debt. And that's why, I mean, that's not why, but that is a big reason why I do have the double income coming in right now, especially when I don't have shit to pay for. And I guess when I say shit to pay for, I just mean rent, because I pay for everything else. So I don't have to pay for rent. And at the time of recording this, rent is ridiculous. You can get a 1-bedroom house. Let me clarify. You can get a nice apartment, marble countertop island. It's nice. Built in the last year or two, right? Nice, right? About $1,300 for a 1-bedroom, $1,200 for a 1-bedroom. You can find some that are in the $1,100 range. They're not as nice. Or you can go find somewhere in the city that's kind of in a not so safe area. Maybe there's a lot of crime. It doesn't look nice. It's very old. You can tell the building was built in the fucking 1700s for maybe $800 a month or $700 a month. So I do have options, but I think the price of feeling safe and secure in my neighborhood and being able to do shit outside without the fear of somebody coming up to me or something like that, that's worth a lot to me. And so I'm willing to pay that. So I'm looking in safer neighborhoods for an apartment, etc. And that's that. So where was I going with that? So, dude, I lose my train of thought a lot. I'm working hard to not do that. This episode 100 is supposed to be a nice professional show. I'm supposed to have my nice microphone and my laptop out here, but I just wanted to get it done. I was so hyped to come out here and make this happen because, again, I made it a rule that I had to have, that I couldn't tell anyone about the show. Couldn't tell a single person. And here we are. I'm very excited to tell my mom that I did this. I'm very excited to tell my family. And there's a few people I know I'm going to tell and they won't give a fuck. But it's all good. I did this for me. And we'll get into this. We'll get into the stats and a whole bunch. I haven't even touched on anything in the laundry list I want to talk about. So we're already at 22 minutes. So it's going to be one hell of a show, huh? I can't remember where I was going with what I was talking about. But anyway, it's just to get out of debt. So I'm doing all this extra shit. I'm pushing myself really to a far extent. And I'm proud of that. You know, I'm working 2 jobs. I'm following Live Hard. You know, right now I'm kind of off that because I'm not on the program. But I have forced myself to remain disciplined. So in the meantime, I have been following a diet, getting my 200 grams of protein in every day, following the workouts that I provided for myself, reading a self-development or nonfiction book. And I have kind of been off with that, but a little bit off the disciplinary, I don't know what you want to call it, which is crazy for me to say because I'm still doing so much shit. But I recently pushed myself over the edge, found a little bit where my current limitations are, backed off, switched gears, and had to give myself a little bit of an ego check. Because for a little bit of time, maybe 2 weeks, I was waking up at 1:45 a.m. in the morning. Just in case you didn't know where AM was. 1:45 a.m. in the morning before noon. And I would go outside, I would run a mile. And this is the dead of winter too, so it's 10 degrees, 20 degrees outside, 30 if I'm lucky. Go run a mile, come home, take an ice bath, 39 degrees, 5 minutes. That's where I'm at. I'm probably going to stay there for a while. But who knows, because I need to make it harder for myself. And then I would just read 10 full pages. So if the page even had one line missing, it didn't count as a full page. And if it was a title chapter or the title heading or whatever, it didn't count as a page. And I read 10 full pages. Kept that habit going. And then I would practice gratitude. It took me about 10 minutes to do. I would just write 5 things that I'm grateful for. And I followed a formula in which I'll probably share later, but I called it the FOMPS gratitude, and that was FOMPS. So I would say one thing I'm grateful for that was future. So future. Something in the future that I'm grateful for, which got me thinking and envisioning the future for myself and keeping up the visualization in a very minuscule way, which is something like, I'm grateful for my brand new house that I'm able to shelter my wife and my kids from the weather, the inclement, whatever. I'm very grateful that I have this nice open garage that I can put my luxury vehicle. That would be the F for future. And we have O for objects or items or places, whatever. O for objects. So I'm grateful for the gym or whatever. I'm grateful for this nice microphone that allows me to produce high quality audio for this podcast that nobody's listening to. I'll get into that in a sec. Nobody listened to any of these episodes. And then M would be the moment or a memory. So something, a moment or memory in time that I'm grateful for. So whether that's going to a Jazz Laker game with my grandpa, whether that's living in Orem, Utah with some roommates and laughing my ass off every single day, playing Monopoly twice a day, probably for 6 months straight, no bullshit. Monopoly's the best board game. And P being a person or just a person. It could be family, could be a random gas station clerk, could be a delivery driver, just a person, some kind of human that I'm grateful for. And then S was something with self, something I'm grateful for about myself. And I followed, so that was a very long way of saying that I followed that in the mornings as well. After I did the gratitudes, I exercised the power list for 20 minutes, which was whatever I had on the power list for that day, and I'll get into that in a minute. And then I stretched for a minimum of 10 minutes, and then I think that's when I would start getting dressed, getting my lunch packed, get my backpack with my workout clothes, get everything ready for the day, because I would work from 5 a.m. to 2:30, and then I would go directly from work to the gym, and hit the gym, hit the workout, come home, be home no later than 4:30, which if I didn't have to record the podcast, I'd be home at 4, but I'd always sit in my car and get that shit done, just to get it done, get the momentum rolling, keep on fire, because it's really hard for me to maintain that momentum when I get home. And I think that's because I work in my room most of the time, and I've got a nice warm bed right there. It's nice, it's really comfortable. I'm all alone in there. It's nice and warm. Nobody's there to bug me. I'm not in a public environment, so who's going to know if I pull out my phone and I stop working on my laptop or whatever. So that was always a struggle for me, and I'm working to combat that and possibly take my laptop and go to a library or just stay at work. Because I work on base, so I could go to another building and just hang out in there, or just stay in the same fucking building and just, who knows, bring a chair. I don't give a fuck, dude. I just want to get shit done. All that in the morning, right? 1:45 a.m. and I would leave for work by about 4:20 a.m. So it was about 2.5 hours in the morning. Got all that shit done. That's not part of any kind of program. That's just me trying to better myself. And that's what I was doing. I'd come home, go to the gym, come home. And then between 4:30 and 6:30 is when I would execute on the power list. And the power list for me has just been working on the business, getting my core values in line, my beliefs and the vision, kind of a business model, kind of figuring out what kind of product I want to make, figuring out why I want to make the product, my messaging, my branding, what's it going to look like, who am I going to target, what's the long-term vision. I need to get an LLC, I need to make a logo, I need to make some kind of art, I need to do something. And I think a cop just pulled it in this parking lot. So if I get pulled over, if a cop comes over here, I'm going to keep it in the show, because that's going to be funny, dude. Got pulled over, or got a cop talking to me because I'm parked in a parking lot at 8:55 p.m. and oh, here he comes. No way. Oh, we're good. He's turning. Damn it, dude. That'd be funny for the show. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, so I was doing all that shit for no other reason than I wanted to kind of, thinking back, it wasn't my intention to push the envelope and see how far I could go, but I did think that I could keep that up. And truth is, I couldn't, and I found out that's where my current limitations are. Because doing all that, so first of all, I planned out my entire day, and I made the whole schedule for my day. Didn't even factor in time to eat. Totally forgot about eating. But I still made that happen, and because I forgot to schedule that in, a lot of the timestamps that I made for the day were kind of all over the place. And then I would get frustrated because I would see on my schedule, okay, I have 2 hours to execute on the power list here, but because I gotta eat, now it's only an hour and a half, and actually I forgot about this thing, so now it's only an hour. Fuck, how am I supposed to do all this shit in an hour? And also, real quick, I had 3 hours per day. If you don't count the power list, I had 3 hours per day to dedicate to whatever I wanted to do. So for anybody who's struggling with time management or feeling like they don't have time for anything, you have so much time for shit. You just have to be very precise with how you spend your time and be aware of what's taking your time. My screen time on my phone went down quite a bit because I just wasn't on my phone. During the whole time, I actually removed social media apps from my phone, and that was a game changer. Fuck social media. I think it's poison, and I would like to be off of it forever, but I do realize it's a great opportunity for business and, you know, the cliche, corny shit, inspiring others and documenting the journey because, you know, I guess technically this is social media. I'm recording this podcast. It's going on Spotify, which is, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, etc., etc. There's no X in that word, fun fact. So I guess technically it is social media, but I don't know. Anyway, it's beside the point. So I had 3 hours per day to myself. And when people say, "Oh, I don't want to do this, I want to have a life," or whatever, I've heard that plenty of times actually. I just think it's an interesting conversation to say that choosing to spend your time on self-development and bettering yourself and pursuing a greater purpose in life and working on yourself for a greater future, a greater career, is not having if that means not having a life, then I don't ever want to have a life. If that's what that means, if not having a life means working on myself, building a career for myself, for my future wife, for my future kids, for the future grandkids, for the generation ahead of the session's name, if doing all that means I don't have a life, then I never ever want to have a life again, dude. Because if that's what that means, I'm good. I want to continue working and building because this has given me so much self-fulfillment and happiness in my life. And I don't think there's any other way to explain it than that. Self-fulfillment, happiness, true, genuine, raw self-fulfillment, laying in bed at night knowing that and I know it's not a word, but I'm going to say it anyway, knowing that I squoze all the fucking lemon juice out of the lemon at night, knowing that I gave it my all, knowing I left no stone unturned, knowing that I was very thorough in my execution of the tasks of the day. There is no greater feeling in life than that. And I would have never experienced that if I never did 75 hard. Because when I was doing the double workouts, the gallon of water, which I still do, not the double workouts, it's actually the hardest thing for me was the double workouts. And doing all of that and then going to bed at night, I just felt great. I was like, man, I'm not wasting my life away anymore. I'm actually doing something. And I'm not even going to get into it further than that. You're not ever wasting your life when you work on yourself. Ever. Ever. So I was able to go to sleep at night with a smile on my face. I mean, I wasn't sitting there like smiling. I fucking did. It wasn't that way. But I went to bed with a clear conscience. Who gives a shit that I worked hard that day. And I put in the work required, and I got what I said I was going to get done. I did it. I kept a promise to myself. I said, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go outside and run. I'm going to drink a gallon of water. I'm going to read. I'm not going to cheat on my diet. I'm not going to drink alcohol. And I'm going to take a progress photo. And that's what I'm going to do today. And I did it every day for 75 days straight. And then I did phase 1, 30 days straight with a lot more critical tasks. And it was hell. You can ask my family. I was always going to bed late. I actually called into work one time during the phase 1 because I was so absolutely exhausted. And I don't want to say sleep deprived, but I was definitely pushing myself to that limit. And like I said a dozen times, I definitely found that limit. So backed off. It's quite an ego check. I was very discouraged for a little bit. I recently went through a little bit of a rut, came out of it, and that's another reason why I'm just so proud of myself, because it's one thing to just be perfect all the time and to not have issues, but when you go through those issues and you do have those downward spirals and you have those times when you're in the trenches, it is an incredible feeling when you make it out, because then it further supports the fact that you can do hard shit, and even if it gets worst of the worst for you in your situation, you can overcome it and you will overcome it. You'll come out on top and you look back and be like, fuck yeah, man, I did that. I did all this. And I didn't give up. Old me would have given up and bitched and moaned about everything. Oh, double workouts, that's bullshit. Drinking a gallon, how can I ever do that? Oh, man, I don't have time. I'm overworking myself. I'm working FedEx all day and I do double workouts. That's ludicrous. I'm never going to give myself a break. That's pussy talk, dude. That's weak-minded, lazy bitch shit right there. And I say that speaking of myself because that's exactly what it was. And I'm so aware of how bitch voice I was with everything going on. I would literally go to, I don't need to say that because it gets me mad that I said that. I would go to work. I'd work 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, doing 300 stops almost per fucking day at FedEx in Colorado. That's about 250. I actually kept track. I had 23 days in a row where I had no less than 221 stops, which if you're a FedEx driver, then you'll know that, or UPS. Well, UPS, I don't know, but FedEx, you'll get it. And so I was working my ass off every day. And so to think that I was doing that and then I was supposed to go work out twice a day and then drink a gallon of water, which gallon of water as a FedEx driver, that you do that in the first 3 hours. Because if you run and I'm actually not even getting into that, but there's a lot of lazy ass drivers out there. But anyway, doing all that, I was just very bitch voice with the whole thing. I was very, no, this is not sustainable. It's not supposed to be sustainable. Fun fact, you're not supposed to be able to do it for your whole life. It's supposed to be hard. And I think, damn, I just had a revelation. That's exactly why I pulled off the gas, because I was forcing myself to do all this extra shit. Like I called it year 95, and that was supposed to be my thing, right? And I did it, and I was successful at it. But I was pedal to the metal with a whole bunch of shit, and I think I found that limit for myself. You know, like I just said, but it's not sustainable. It's not supposed to be. It's just to tune you up. It's a mental recalibration program, mental reconditioning. It's not a fitness program, not a nutrition program. It's not a challenge. It's a mental recalibration blueprint to just tune your brain up. How many times you get an oil change for your car? However many miles it takes, right? Around 5,000, 6,000, depending on your car. Or however many months. 4 months, 6 months, 8 months. I'm not a car guy. I don't give a fuck unless it's a Lambo, so don't come at me with that. I don't know. But why do you get an oil change? Because, dude, your car uses the fucking shit, right? And then with time it goes bad. You got to get an oil change. You got to get it tuned up. How often do your tires go bad? Every few years? I don't know. You got to get that shit tuned up. What happens if you don't? Your tire might pop, you might crash. You got to keep tuning your shit up, dude. You got to keep on that. So you keep on growing. You keep on developing. I'm trying to go far in life, and I'm not going to do that with shitty tires and not changing my oil. So that's what 75 Hard is. I'm going to try to back off talking about that because this is about the podcast, but I'm actually going to dive into the laundry list here of shit that I want to talk about. But in short, real quick, purpose of the podcast is to document the journey through Live Hard, document the journey, the day-to-day of building a business from ground up, bootstrapping the whole thing, working 2 jobs, doing it all, as well as doing hard shit every day for no other reason than to put myself in uncomfortable situations so that I can grow and progress, build resilience, further build my willpower, further enhance my endurance, forge grit and fortitude and self-esteem and self-confidence, self-worth, all the things, all the buzzwords, right? All the things that people throw around, but there's no other way to put it than that. I want to become such an unstoppable man in my life where when I say I'm going to do something, everybody that hears me say that I'm going to do something knows that will get done and knows when it'll get done by and has no doubt in their mind that it will get done. I want to push myself. I just want to continue pushing myself to the limit and growing because that is so exciting for me. I no longer want to sit at home and just play video games and just play RuneScape all day. I want to get out there and do shit. I want to build shit. I want to push myself to the limit. I take an ice bath every day. I'm on a streak of 65 days right now. And because of that streak and that momentum, it'll be a cold day in hell, ironically, before I stop that streak. And that has been such a factor in my life. When I'm looking at apartments, for example, I need a garage. And if that means I have to spend an extra $200 a month, so be it. But I have to have that cold plunge. I will be doing that every day for the rest of the time. It's so beneficial for all the health reasons. But the main reason why I do it, well, we're going to go on a tangent here, is just because I don't like to do it. And it's very hard to do. It's very difficult to get in 39-degree water and hang out there for 5 minutes. And for everybody who's going to come at me, I'm losing my voice, but for everybody who's going to come at me saying that you only need to do 11 minutes per week and you don't need to go that cold to get the benefits, Right on, man. Shit's hard for me, and it builds a willpower. As I've talked about previously, Andrew Huberman talks about how it builds your prefrontal mid-cingulate cortex, or maybe it's anterior. I think it's anterior mid-cingulate cortex, which pretty much you could say that it's your willpower, right? I'm not going to get into it because I don't know the details in such a way that I could say it right now and be accurate. So go listen to the David Goggins, Andrew Huberman podcast. Just came out. I want to say, get some crack in my voice. Dude, my voice is going. And I haven't even started the podcast yet. You can go listen to that podcast, and it's got a lot of great information in there. So, anyway, that's why I do it. It's because I don't want to do it, and because it's hard. And because every time I get out of it, I feel like a man and a half, dude. It's an incredible feeling. And to anybody who's even thinking about it, do it. 100%. Screw all the trends, screw all the fads, screw all the hype. Just do it because it's hard, and you'll feel proud of yourself. I started with one of those inflatable little things at, I think, 58 degrees, started with 1 minute. Slowly progressed. Well, actually, before that, I started with cold showers, and no shit, started with 5 seconds because that shit was cold and I couldn't handle it, and I was bitching out. So I did 5 seconds, and then I slowly increased over a month to maybe 30 seconds. No shit. And then from there, maybe another month, got to a minute, 2 minutes. And then one day out of the blue, I just forced myself to do 5. And I was like, damn, dude, I just did 5 minutes in the cold shower. Anyway, then I got an inflatable one, started with 58 degrees, worked down to 55, and then 50, and then 45. And then there was one day where I went from 44 to 39, or actually 37.8 or something like that. I don't know which podcast episode that was, but it was the final boss battle, I think is what I called it. You can go learn about that. But ever since then, I've been doing 39 degrees for 5 minutes. And it's been life-changing, man. It's great. So anyway, with that being said, take an ice bath. Or don't. It's all good. Anyway. All right, guys. Let's get into the fucking show, huh? Also, because I've told people about it by the time you're listening to this. Sorry, Mom, that I'm swearing so much. Sorry that I'm saying a lot of bad words. But also, this is me. Love you. So if you want to stay around and support your son here, I've been saying potty mouth words, and it is what it is. But anyway, guys, welcome to episode 100 of the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show. And today is actually going to be the last episode of the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show, which, to reiterate, just means BQ, that's my name, POV, point of view, daily, because it's a daily show, podcast, because podcast, show, because it's a show. But, yeah, tomorrow it's going to be the first episode, actually, of the BQ Daily with Bryson Sessions. And I got everything planned out for that. And I'm going to talk about that here at the end of the show again. But with all that being said, welcome to episode 100. 100 in a row of 20 minutes long. Can't tell anybody. Nobody on planet Earth knows that I'm doing the show except, I think, 14 people. Two in Liberia, one in Egypt or something, one in, I can't remember, one in Missouri, which is Andy Priscilla for sure, one in West Virginia, and then 2 in Utah. Don't know who they are. Maybe even me. I don't know. But anyway, holy shit, can we just get into the thing? Welcome to episode 100. So the first thing I have here, and I'm going to go down this laundry list. So over the last 100 days, I made 100 podcast episodes with some rules. And I already talked about the rules, but for the sake of me being all over the place, let's touch them again. Had to be at least 20 minutes, had to be solo, couldn't tell anyone, couldn't even allude to it. Had to be some sort of lesson or takeaway, couldn't edit anything or move or add anything, like, or whatever. And I guess technically I broke that rule. I tried to make intro and outro music. I tried to add that in. I tried to figure something out and splice 2 podcasts together, because there is one episode where I put an old recording of 75 Hard, me on my outdoor workout, in with a current episode now, and I made that the episode. And I'm actually very proud of that, because it's very valuable. It puts a lot of perspective of how I was then versus me now, put it into one. And I've always wanted to do that, but I was kind of against it because, like, it breaks the rules. But I was like, fuck it, man. It's of value, and that's another rule. It has to be some kind of lesson or takeaway. So that's that. And then everything that was in there is exactly how it was said. I didn't edit or remove anything that I said. I even said a few words I guess, not proud of, and I'm sure somebody's going to say something about it sometime, but nothing was removed. Everything that I said is exactly how I would say it. It's me, 100% me. I'm speaking right now exactly how I would speak to somebody else. I'm not trying to be something or pretend to be this or that. It's 100% me. And not a lot of people can say that because everybody tries to be something they're not to impress people they don't even like, which is a very interesting thing. So, and then I had to upload at least 5 episodes per week. It was all on Spotify, and around episode 70, I think 71, I finally figured out, or I guess put effort into figuring out how to upload on different platforms. And we did. We're now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and then a whole bunch of random ones that I've never really heard of, but I operate through Podbean, which I've talked about, might probably change, but I operate through Podbean, and that allows me to upload to different platforms fairly easily, and so why not have my show on all platforms possible? I'm sure that'll change in the future, but right now, just trying to get the word out of the show by not saying a fucking word for 100 episodes. So I've not promoted the show in any way, shape, or form at all. Nobody knows about it except the random people who have listened and found it themselves. So very cool stuff. And yeah, I did all this and made this commitment for virtually zero return because no one's listened. But again, that's not why I'm doing it. I did it to better myself at speaking and articulating my thoughts, confidence builder, getting in the reps, speaking, stopping saying like, all that shit. And above all else, and this is one of the most, if not the most important takeaway you can, or lesson or whatever, golden nugget, as corny as that bullshit is, that you can take from this episode is I just started. I just got started. All I did was start. I didn't even have a plan other than document the day-to-day through the Live Hard and Business. I did not care about the cover art of the show, in which you could scroll all the way back to episode 1. It's a white letter B on a black background. I found on Google Maps. I literally typed in letter B, Google Images, found one of the first ones, and I'm sure you can do the same thing. I do it right now. Go to Google, type in letter B. I'm sure you'll find exactly what I used. It's the same thing. It's a white letter B, and I was like, fuck it, that's it. And I didn't even have a name for the show. I called it B-Cast. I called it B-Cast, dude. And it's so cool. It's a very surreal moment now, even saying that out loud, because it didn't matter. It didn't matter what the name was. It didn't matter what it looked like. I was doing it for me. Who gives a fuck? B-Cast with a white letter B? No one's clicking on that shit, bro. You know? But I did it. And pretty cool to look back. So you can scroll all the way back. I kept it that way for that reason alone. So scroll all the way back to episode 1 through 7 or something like that. And then I actually further proved the point that it didn't even matter even more with changing the logo and changing the name, which the name I changed because I found an old note in my phone, and it was actually me saying how I wanted to start a podcast to document 75 Hard, and that was in December of 2022, and I called it the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show. So in honor of the old me in 2022, with the idea in the first place, I changed the name I changed the name to that, because I had that idea before, a whole year almost before I even did it, which is very cool to think that I'm living up to what I thought of doing a year ago. But it's also disappointing because why the fuck did it take me a year? I'd be on episode 365 right now. But it is what it is. And so anyway, I changed the cover art of the show, but I did it in a way that further proved that I didn't give a fuck. And then you can just do something. So coming from somebody who wants to make all the colors nice, the theme nice, the name, everything has to look good and feel good. All the templates, make sure everything's matching. Make sure it's perfect. Coming from somebody who does that 24/7, I challenged myself to just find some random shit, make it the cover art, roll with it, and keep moving. And because I didn't stop, because I didn't stagnate on the fact that I didn't have a good cover art or a name or whatever, we're on episode 100, 100 days later. I didn't miss once. Here we are. We made it. It's because I made imperfect action. I kept chugging. I kept moving. Even if something wasn't working or wasn't right, I just kept going. And here we are, episode 100. And that's... I don't know what more proof you need, man. Here I am. And is this the greatest podcast on earth? No, hell no, dude. Hell no, it's not. I'd be surprised if anybody ever listens to the first 100, but it's an accomplishment for me, man, and I'm proud. But anyway, I typed in podcast logo generator. I think I went into Adobe, whatever, typed in my name, my slogan, whatever, which the slogan was podcast show. And then I clicked generate. And what you're seeing on this show, the cover art for this show in the last up to episode 8, from episode 8 to now, is something that just popped up. I clicked it and I said, fuck it, we're rolling with that. Downloaded it, uploaded it. Here we are. I think it looks like shit, but I did it just to further, and this is why I did it. Literally, so I could say this right now. Didn't give a shit, just wanted to find something, put it on there, so later I can say, this is what I did. And that's what I did. So holy shit, we're already there. We're already saying the shit that we said we were going to say and whatever. So, yeah, didn't care about the name, didn't care about the cover art. Didn't even have a setup. A lot of people were like, oh, I need a best microphone, I need this, I need that, I need a good room, I need good lighting. Dude, in Arizona, I had a perfect setup. I had a desk, I had the microphone, I had a backdrop, I even ordered lights to make it look nice. I had a teal light, I had an orange light, had a professional camera, had the overhead lighting. It looked so good. And I even have some old videos. I might have to post those, but of me trying to do a podcast or get it set up. But I never started because I was so focused on the lighting and the setup and the microphone and how it would look on camera. I was focused on all that. And it never happened. Nothing ever came about. And now, I'm sitting in my fucking car at a park using my phone. I'm using the voice memo app. And I'm not even going to edit anything into the show. Maybe a podcast intro. I don't know, because it's the 100th episode. But I don't know. But I'm sitting at a park on my phone, dude, on the voice memos app. You can't get more basic than that. You own a phone, you have a voice memo app. Click record, start talking. That's what I did. That's what I did for 100 episodes. Now, that being said, there are maybe half the episodes where I am in my room. I do have a $40 mic that does sound pretty good. And, for example, my voice is really close to the mic like this. And as a result, it sounds superior in quality. And so there were a handful of episodes where I did do that. But being in my house, there was a loss of confidence there, which is probably something I should have been doing more, to be honest, because if it's going to challenge me, I need to look at me eating my words already, man. So that's some growth right there. Hell yeah, man. So anyway, I do have a $40 mic, and not necessary because, again, I'm using my phone. I'm in my car at a park at 9:19 p.m. January 27th, 2024. That's what's going on. So, yeah. Didn't have a setup at all. What the fuck is going on, dude? Goddamn Siri talking to me. So, yeah, no setup. Just use my phone. And, again, didn't have any more than about 3 to 5 listeners at a time for 12, maybe we've gotten a grand total, maybe 20 listeners. I don't know, though. I can't say that for sure. But I do know we had 8 at one point. I think that's it. So, I guess for documentation purposes, we'll just say I had no more than 15 people listen to the show. But again, didn't say a single word. So the people who found the show found it because they wanted to listen or they saw a title or whatever. But yeah, and that's just people who listened for at least 60 seconds. So there could have been a lot more who heard my voice and said, yeah, fuck that, I ain't doing that. And they clicked out of it, which I probably would too. Because who the fuck is Bryson? What's he doing? He's doing ice baths and reading books. Oh, man, what a champ. Let's listen to him. So, but I'm going to be something one day, man. Promise. But, yeah, I did this for 100 days straight, every single day. Recorded a podcast that was a minimum of 20 minutes long. And I wrote this maybe 3 weeks ago, but I wrote, it feels incredible to have kept that promise and commitment to myself. Meaning, I knew I was going to do it 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, however long it was. Here I am. It's episode 100, and it's great. So, anyway. So if you say the average of an episode was 30 minutes long, I spoke for 50 hours. I spoke for 2 days straight. If I spoke 180 words a minute, which most minutes I'm doing that. Most, I guess, maybe it's half and half. I don't know. But if, for example, I'm just going to say a sentence. We're going to time myself. We're going to start at the 5 here. So, yeah, I went to the mall and I ordered a large shake. The guy said I was a dick. So I said, yeah, fuck off. So that was 5 seconds. And that was definitely, see, fuck that word, man. Definitely. It's definitely 30 words in 5 seconds. So, we're there. But it's neither here nor there. So, if I did speak 180 words per minute, that's 540,000 words that I have spoken in the duration of this podcast. And that's 100 reps of getting better at podcasting. I'm now 100 episodes ahead of where I would be if I never would have started. And like I shared this, I almost said this morning, as if I've been recording all day. Like I shared earlier, the start of this podcast, there's that statistic, however many percent of podcasters never get past episode 3. And of those people who do, 99% never make it past episode 20. So being on 21 puts me in the 1 percentile of podcasters. And we're on episode 100. So what's the percentage of that? So that's very cool. So I never would have started if I'm just backtracking. So yeah, I'm 100 episodes in. I have 100 reps at doing this shit. I have an idea of how it runs, how I best operate my show. And I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried writing out an outline for the show and then hitting on it. And it seems like the show runs smoother when I do have a plan and I'm going at it kind of from the list like I am today. I mean, the show's going great. I'm reading the list. I'm kind of going off the points that I wrote. And I've tried it where I'm trying to keep track of timestamps. There's got to be a better way to do that solo for me because I'm trying to make this very concise as far as production goes. I want to record it and upload it. But if I'm going to add or remove or edit or whatever, there's got to be some production time, meaning I got to go upload it to my computer. Then I got to put it into Adobe, what the fuck's the thing called? Adobe, I don't know, the audio one. Encore? I don't know. Put it in there, put the music on there, edit, remove everything, save it, make sure it's MP3. Then I can put it into the RSS feed, which is Podbean, put that on the platforms and upload it. Whereas I would like to be able to just save it to my computer, upload to Podbean, be done. So there's a lot of different things that go into that. But I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyway, I have 100 reps. Do this for 100 days straight. And I'll talk about it probably towards the end of the show, but I'm going to do a show every single day moving forward. It's going to be bite-sized pieces with the intent that 10 years, you'll be able to catch up. Because if every show is an hour long, you ain't listening to the 3,653 episodes. But if they're 5 minutes long, you can listen to 20 an hour. So you can listen to almost a whole month of my life. You can listen to a month of my life in an hour and a half if you just listen to the episodes back to back. So if that's of interest, that's why I'm doing it. If not, don't give a fuck. It's documented. It's here. Everything I've ever done is in context of business and pursuing resilience and building my willpower. It's all here. And that's kind of the point. So, and the other thing here, I further proved to myself that I absolutely can just start. So I even developed this philosophy along the way, and I'm 100% a subscriber to it. I developed this philosophy that waiting to start anything because it has to be on a certain day or a certain time or whatever is just the biggest excuse possible that we can make as a human being. So time is real and time goes on. That's all, I've been doing the show for 57 minutes, 45 seconds. Time's real. But the measurement is man-made. Show me a minute. Show me that. Where did that minute come from? That's man-made. We have 7 rotations of Earth that happen, and we call that a week. Why is it 7? Why not 6? Why not 30? Why can't 30 days be a week? So we made that up. 7 days, 7 rotations of Earth into a bundle is called a week. And then we wrapped 4 of those into another bundle, and we call that a month. And some of those months have 3 extra. We call them days, rotations of the Earth. And some of those months have 2. But there's 1 month per year. And but every 4th year it has 1 that has perfectly 28 days, which is 4 weeks exactly. And then we bundle up those, what we call months, which are bundles of weeks. We put all that together, and that makes a year, which is a full rotation around the sun. We call that a year. And also, we give those bundles of weeks, we give them names. And one starts with a J. Well, actually, 3 of them start with a J, and 2 of them start with an M. And you know what I mean, bro? Jesus. So to say you're not going to start until January 1st, so you're saying when the stars align, quite literally, you'll start doing whatever you're going to start doing that you'll inevitably fail 3 days later because, again, fucking stars aligned. So anyway, I developed this. What an asshole I am, huh? I developed this philosophy that waiting to start anything is just the biggest mistake that we make as humans. Because what the fuck, man? What a load of shit. Just start. If you want to lose weight, why would you prolong losing weight? If you really wanted to lose weight, you would make an effort right this very second to do so. Right? I think that's right. So to say, oh, I'll start on January 1st and it's fucking July, bro. What are you doing? Or to say I'll start on Monday and it's Thursday night. What are you doing? Just start. Anything is better than nothing. Right? Anyway, so developed that philosophy, and it's not a popular one. It's very difficult to have certain opinions and beliefs when a lot of people you're surrounded by at work or at home or friends or even social media, for fuck's sake, don't operate on those standards. And that's okay. And that's something I'm learning to get okay with. You know, not everybody around me wants to be super successful, be super disciplined, be grinding hardcore, building something. Not everybody wants to do that. I don't get why, but I mean, I get why. But dude, man, there's so much to get to, so much lemon juice to squeeze out of the lemon, man. A lot of people go to heaven, they die, haven't even squoze a goddamn drop out of the lemon. I want to be able to go to heaven wherever I'm going. I don't give a fuck, bro. I don't even know what I believe in, to be quite honest with you. Wherever I'm going, whatever the afterlife is, if that's even a thing, I want to be able to go where I'm going. Let me say it this way. I want to be on my deathbed knowing, without a doubt, I lived my best life that I could. If my life's pre-cut and I just had to follow a path, I want to know that I followed that thing almost exactly how it was cut out for me. And I did everything possible that I possibly could to make my life what it is. There's a quote, changed a lot of how I see things, but it's from the book Why Not How, or How Not Why. I can't remember. I'm already butchering the thing, but it says, true hell is when the person you could have been meets the person you are. Meaning, imagine if I would have done everything correct up to this point in my life, to the best of my ability. Me meeting that person now, that would be very unfortunate, because I'm just starting this shit, right? About half a year ago, 5 months ago, I discovered what true happiness and self-fulfillment is, and that is what I've talked about during this whole show. And so to think that I could be, if I would have started everything I'm doing now at 18, right as I got out of high school, I'd be 8 years in, because I'm 26 years old right now. 26 and a half, actually. 26 and a half in 3 weeks. Just playing, I don't give a fuck. And to think that I'd be 8 years ahead of where I am now, dude, I could be driving Lambos and living in a nice-ass house in 8 years from now, right? So 8 years ago, that put me now. That's a bummer to think about, you know? But you can't dwell on that shit. You just got to keep moving. And that's what I'm doing. So I don't think about that shit. I think about where I'll be in the next 30 years. 20 years from now, I'm only going to be 46. Dude, that's young as fuck. It's young as fuck. 20 years is so much time, too. You can get so much shit done in a month. And we're talking 20 years. Anyway. So yeah, I had no experience with podcasting. I have no listeners, still don't. Nothing going on, and no reason to think that I could be any kind of successful or influential podcaster or anything of the sort, but I did it. And I did it for 100 episodes straight, and here I am, recording episode 100 in the middle of a park, 9:30 p.m. at night, hour and 3 minutes into the show. I did it, man. Here I am. This is a big accomplishment for me. It's very, very surreal to think that I made it this far, and to think that I've spent at least 20 minutes every single day for the last 100 days talking to my fucking phone, in my car, in my room, quiet enough to where nobody can hear me. That's cool. I did it, you know? And I would challenge anybody who wants to get into podcasting, do a similar thing, man. Say you're going to go for 50 episodes. Say you're going to go for 200. Say you're going to do 2 a day, 10 minutes each. Make some rules for yourself. And just do it. See if you can do it. Because here I am. You know, and as of right now, I think this is the longest podcast I've ever recorded. And anyway, so yeah, just start, man. Just get that shit going. Whatever you want to do in life, just start. Just go for it. You don't have to wait around. Procrastinating is it's an interesting concept. You're saying, I want to do this thing, but I don't want to do it until I absolutely have to. And then when it gets too late, I'm going to get stressed out and pissed off that I maybe won't even get to do it because I waited too long. And then I'm going to be bummed because I didn't do the thing I wanted to do. And as a result, nothing happened. And now I'm just pissed off because I didn't just do it. Fucking do your thing. Get off your phone. Stop scrolling social media. Stop watching porn. Get your shit done. Get going, you know? Fucking shower. Go touch some grass, you know? Stop playing RuneScape all day, Bryson. God. Anyway. So, and I have 100 reps and 50 hours of experience under my belt. Whereas, if I wouldn't have any experience or any reps. And the reason why I'm bringing that up now, again, is because I have intent to make a real podcast that's talking about real shit, not just documenting things, but providing real value, talking about lessons and maybe principles, theories, whatever that I've learned that I want to share with other people. Because I learn a lot through reading. There's a lot through reading that there's some concepts and points that I would love to just talk about and maybe even develop further by myself. Because I'll read a book, it'll have we'll call it just some kind of principle or rule, principle of this. You read it and it's like, oh, that's very interesting. I like to try to make that into another analogy for myself of how that I can apply that particular thing to this area in my life. And I thrive off of making analogies or learning from analogies. And no, I don't really hear a lot of people talk about that, and maybe I'm just weird, so perhaps that's why. But if I could take something, some kind of lesson, run it through the whole mechanism that is my brain, put it out through Bryson's mouth, maybe help somebody learn it, or, you know, just provide value, give something of value, and refer to this podcast. Say, if you want to know what I'm doing on a day-to-day, listen to this shit. It's 5 minutes long. And hopefully you get on early so you don't have to catch up with, the goal is 7,305 episodes. I think that's the ultimate goal, because that's 20 years of a podcast every single day. And I want you to be able to catch up. Because if you found me in 20 years from now, so the people who aren't even born yet, man, dude, if you're born today, January 27th, 2024, and you're a 20-year-old, and you're now just stumbling across this show, so it's 2044, I want you to be able to listen to all these shows and catch up and be like, oh, wow, he did this way. I wasn't even born when he made this podcast. That type of shit, man. It's cool. But I just got started. Here I am. Here we are. And, oh, yeah. I lose my train of thought, so I backtrack a lot. I'm sorry. Working on it. But I have intent to start a real podcast, and that will be called something along the lines of pledging to personal excellence, or the pursuit of personal excellence, or pursuing high standards, pursuit of whatever. Because maybe I need to keep the personal excellence thing out of it, because that's Andy Frisella and that's his thing. However, I don't think it's his thing. It is a very important concept that I think everybody needs to be aware of, that personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. I'm not trying to make this political whatsoever, but if everybody on planet Earth took care of themselves, took care of their bodies, monitored what they ate, monitored the alcohol they consumed, always was engaging in some kind of self-developing activity such as reading or pursuing some kind of fitness goal, or challenging themselves physically, mentally, whatever, or even got, whatever the case may be. If we all just made a conscious effort to be better in all areas of life and lived life with intent, got off the couch, stopped watching porn, stopped scrolling social media for hours, stop arguing with strangers on the internet in the comments, stop doing all that shit. If we all just made an effort to be better, to be you don't even have to be a lean bodybuilding motherfucker. Just take care of your body. Monitor the foods you eat. If everybody stopped eating fast food, all the fast food chains in the world would go gone. What the fuck would happen then? Just certain things that there's just so much going on. Haven't put much thought into it further than that, I'm not going to lie. But if everybody took care of themselves, watch what they ate, watch what they consumed, watch where they got their news, and was just have some common fucking sense, man, this world will be a whole different place. And so by taking care of yourself and what you got going on and setting the standard for yourself and your family, you're going to inspire other people to do the same. And I guess I'm living proof, because I've been told already that me and my standards that I'm living through and by have improved and influenced others to do the same. And that's what it's all about, man. If I can keep the standard high in my life, let's throw some arbitrary numbers. If I keep the standard at a level 20 for my life, and somebody else is living a standard at a 5, and they raise their standards to a 15, even though it's not my 20, they raised their standards to a 15, That's a win. That's what we need in this world. That's how we're going to get everybody on the same page and unite and all that shit, right? Everybody's got to do their part, do their work, worry about themselves first. So you can't pour from an empty cup, right? Everybody's heard that shit. You can't pour from an empty cup, an empty bucket, whatever. You got to fill your cup first. And that cup might be, you got to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. I mean, as the analogy goes, when you're in a plane, they always tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before you try to figure out an oxygen mask for your kid or for somebody else. Because if you can't fucking breathe, how are you going to help anybody else breathe? You know, take care of yourself first and then worry about somebody else. And is that selfish? I guess you could argue that it is, dude. But unless we take care of ourselves, how the fuck are we going to help anybody else, you know? Practice what you preach, right? How could I sit here as a 300-pound overweight fuck who doesn't read, who doesn't drink water, who doesn't work out and say, yeah, this is how you do it? I'm not inspiring anybody, you know? Dude, you got to... That's another thing. I'm very proud of what I'm saying because everything I've said this entire podcast is 1,000% true. I'm not lying in any context whatsoever. It's 100% me. It's what I'm doing. It's me, my beliefs, my values, my standards that I'm living by. And you're listening to them. Episode 100. I mean, I wouldn't have made it here if I fucking, you know, I don't know. Episode 100, man. I don't know. So anyway, going back to the name thing. Personal excellence, ultimate rebellion. That's for sure Andy's thing. I mean, I bought a hat today. And I bought a patch. And I'm very proud to wear that patch. And I went extra hard in my workout today because I'm wearing the hat. It's the personal excellence, real American freedom. Because wearing that hat, that's a high-ass standard I got to maintain. So if I'm wearing that hat, bro, I'm going balls to the wall. And that's what I did. I almost bitched out, but I was like, nah, dude, I'm wearing fucking Andy's hat. But anyway, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. That's Andy's saying. That's his thing, 100%. But I do love personal excellence. And I don't really know how else to say that, you know? Self greatness. Sounds so gay. Oh, see, I said gay. I'm gonna get canceled, dude. Yeah, it sounds so gay. Yeah, I'm homophobic now, huh? Oh, I'm fatphobic probably too. Oh, and I'm racist probably too. Dude. Yeah, I'm not trying to go political. Sorry that I said gay. I'm not homophobic. Be gay. Be extra gay. Anyway, let's not get into that. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna call the show something to do with excellent personal excellence because that resonates with me. That's something that's driven me, and you know, I want to help other people do the same because this has been life changing for me. As corny as that sounds. So if I could give that to somebody else, show them that actually working hard, doing hard shit, quote unquote, not having a life, I'm going to run with that for a while because, dude, I think it was episode 98. You can listen to that. I had a conversation with an individual in my life who I have no problem with, but we just had a conversation and this person said a few things that I thought was absurd. And so, yeah, man, if me and I having a life means working and bettering myself and the betterment of my name, the session's name, and everything like that, building the future, having abundance, safe neighborhood, all the bullshit, bro, then I will never, ever have a desire to have a life, if that's what that means. So, anyway, I don't want to keep pounding that on the dick, but, yeah. So, let's keep on running down this list here. So, yeah, I think I've already talked about a lot of this, actually, so. Well, anyway, I guess the show's coming to an end here, man. So, one thing I am going to talk about here is, so the future of the show from here on out. Again, the intent from the show here on out, which is tomorrow, because we just did episode 100, hell yeah, is going to be bite-sized pieces. It's going to be me documenting the day. Maybe something I learned I want to share, quick share. But it's going to be some sort of, I did this today, this is the plan, didn't do this today, fuck, see ya. That type of deal. And it's going to be quick bite-sized pieces. It is going to be daily. And if I have nothing to talk about, then I'm going to try to find some kind of lesson and share it with you guys because I want to do this every single day. I want to get to episode 300 or 3,000. I always say 300. Fuck. I want to get to episode 3,653 by, I guess that would be 100 days ago. So that would be October. That would be, no, September. I don't know, man. Come back another time with the official date. Don't know. But it definitely would be 2033, because that's when I started. This is episode 100. So 2033, we're going to have that goal achieved. Man, imagine listening to this show then, dude. That's going to be pretty fucking crazy. 2030, literally 10 years ago, you heard me say this. If you're listening then, which is now, which is then. So, yeah, the intense bite-sized pieces so you can catch up. A little bit of documentation here and there. Especially when I get real shit going. Because I just ordered a sample for my pre-workout. Took about 8 business days. Finally got it. Trying it out. Very proud of how it's turned out so far. The taste is a bit bitter, but we're working on it. I gave some samples to my buddies, and they tried it out. I'm going to give some to my mom, see what she thinks, all that shit. So, making some progress, man. Very slow, but there's only so much you can do with a bank account that only has 3 digits and dreams that cost 8 digits. So, we're doing what we can, and if anything, I hope this serves as inspiration to anybody listening that you can just absolutely start. You just got to be okay with being a piece of shit and nobody listens or gives a fuck for quite some time. And I think I've accepted that very well. I've accepted the fact that this is going to take not 1 year, not 2 years, not 5 years, maybe 10, but most definitely 20. 20 years from now, if I keep up the work that I'm doing now, I don't think I have any reason to think that I won't be where I want to be or achieve what I want to achieve. I think I will have everything and more if I keep this up, because I'm working harder than anybody I know. In real life, I'm not working harder than Andy for sure. David Goggins or anybody that I know in real life. I'm 100. Well, that I know about them. I'm not trying to be a pretentious fuck right now, but a lot of people in life I know aren't doing shit. And it sounds cocky, I guess, but maybe you can relate, and I would love to know if you can relate, because I'd love to associate with you, because us success-driven individuals need to bond together, dude, because it is so hard to be surrounded by people who don't support what you're doing or point or throw punches or jabs or whatever what you're doing. You just got to get the fuck away from that shit, bro. Those people are poison. Do not associate with them. If they're family, do what you got to do. If they're friends, do what you got to do. If they're, I don't know, even if your mom, I don't know. You got to do what you got to do, man. You can't let other people infiltrate the ambition that you have. You can't let that shit happen. You got to keep your distance, love them, whatever you got to do. But just understand they're on a different life path. And they don't understand your life path. So they have no idea what it could possibly be like to chase what you're chasing, They don't get to choose what pace you go at. You're going where you're going, they're going where they're going. It doesn't matter how fast they're going, doesn't matter how fast you're going. Don't let them decide what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. You do you, let them do them. Just said the same thing 8 different times, but it's true. Just focus on yourself, let them do their shit. They don't need to be concerned with what you're doing or how fast you're going. They don't even know where you're going. They can't even see where you're going. But you got crystal clear vision of where you're headed. And you just got to keep on going and going and going until you get there. And that's all I want to say about that. Holy shit. So just be careful who you let in your life. Be careful who you tell things to, and real quick, I'm going to touch on that. Through 75 Hard, through phase 1, twice. So phase 1, I didn't have social media at all. So nobody knows I even completed it. The idea was to hop off social media for phase 1, get it back at the end, post about it, and let everybody know how much superior I am to them. It was a joke. But, because, completing the shit gives you some status, I think. And if you're not in the realm of 75 Hard or give a fuck, then that's absolutely meaningless to you, and you will disagree completely. And that's okay. But I want to be associated with people who have done the program, who desire to do the program, who make an effort to complete the program, and people of that caliber, because I think that says so much about a person, that they're willing to commit to really hard shit to be better. They want to grow, they want to develop, and they're willing to go through the ringer that is 75 Hard to get there. I have a lot of respect for people who want to do that, and I don't know how to filter that out, but man, from here on out, if you ain't trying to grow and be big and not physically, but just grow, be better, develop into something massive and whatever, I would politely ask that we don't get close, because I would like to associate with people. Sounds so dick, man. I want to associate with people who get it. And of course, that will never happen What I mean is, I'm not going to only ever associate with Andy Frisella, David Goggins, Joe Rogan, people like that. I mean, I live on Earth, 99.99999% of people would rather jack off and eat McDonald's every day than hop in an ice bath and pursue kind of anything larger than their 9 to 5. And that's okay. But that's what I desire. I'd like to find people with like-minded beliefs. I would like to find people who share the same hobby as me. There's nothing wrong with that. Fuck off if you think otherwise. Anyway, so again, bite-sized pieces, Pursuit of Personal Excellence podcast, whatever. That's where I'm going to talk about real shit. That's the steak and potatoes. This is just the daily show. And, then I also had an idea for the business podcast, which is a supplement, which I would talk about, supplementation, what the brand stands for, the vision, the core values, all that shit talk about how we can be better, because it is a supplement brand, but I wanted to go so much deeper than that itself. Because I've noticed, and it's not a bad thing, but I've noticed that every supplement company runs off the same marketing, that it is the purest form of this, science-backed formula, clinically studied ingredient. Shouldn't that be baseline, bro? Shouldn't that be the fucking minimum? The bare minimum? It's not, but shouldn't that be what it is? And we all fall for the same bullshit claims, man. Clinically studied ingredients to boost performance and yada yada. Efficacious dosed product formulated for dude, shut the fuck up, man. And I'm probably going to say, I'm going to eat my words for sure on this, because I'm ignorant to the fact of what it takes. And I'm admitting that now, because I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong, dude. What do I have to lose? I already said gay. I'm canceled. I'm done. There goes my whole career because I said gay. So anyway, I always see that, formula back or science backed formula, blah blah blah. It should be based off of science. If I just put 123.5 grams of creatine and then maybe 2.5 micrograms of betaine, and then maybe we'll throw in some lion's mane extract, maybe we'll throw in some ashwagandha, and throw in about 3 milligrams of caffeine. You know what? Do 2 grams of caffeine. Let's kill some motherfuckers. Science says that, this is a product, so let's sell man, shouldn't that be the bare minimum? I don't know, man. So anyway, the whole idea is to go a little bit deeper on the messaging and the branding, and to spread the message that way. And also, like I said, above all else, for me, and maybe this is very ignorant, but I just want to do it to get in the game of entrepreneurship. I want to have a real product that I made with my knowledge and my, we'll call it expertise, quote unquote expertise, because I've been living in the workout world for 10 years now. Know a lot about the supplements and ingredients and stuff like that. I'm not an expert by any means. No PhD, no degree at all, because fuck college is what it is. And I'm not going to school for 4 years to go in debt to get a piece of paper that says I'm qualified to do something, bro. I don't need that validation and confirmation of my abilities. I know what I'm capable of. And if I'm not capable of something, I'm going to learn and do my best to get there. I don't need to goddamn write papers every week, turn it into somebody who doesn't give a shit, for them alone to judge my work based on their perspective of life, to give me a grade in which that grade dictates how far I'll go academically. Fuck all that, bro. To give me a piece of paper that says my name and it says I don't even know what the fuck the things stand for, dude. Bachelor degree, master degree, PhD, I don't give a fuck. And no disrespect to anybody who's gone that way. It's very difficult. I'm sure it is. Especially PhD. No disrespect. Because that's an accomplishment in and of itself. But doing it for the validation or whatever to get a job that pay, you can suck my... So anyway. All that being said, that I want to start a podcast with the business as well. But I'm not trying to overwhelm myself and make my whole life podcasting. Because the idea with the real podcast, we'll call it, is to do maybe once a week, twice a week. I think I made a goal for 104 episodes this year, which I'm already behind because I have 0. But I might just do one a week. I don't know. I haven't put much thought into that. I do have an idea for the first episode of that, and I'll just share it right now. So it's introduction to the show, quick brief from previous 100 bq.POV podcasts and reasoning why I did that. So maybe this will be episode 1. Who knows? Introduction to the show, what to expect from it. Actually, there's a lot of nitty-gritty details in here. Yeah, we'll share that another time. Anyway. And so that's the goal. So moving forward with this show, you're going to hear a lot of bite-sized shit regarding business, live hard, doing hard things, lessons I've learned. I say bite-sized, but I really mean that. Pull out your phone. You got a 3-minute podcast from me for the day. Click that up. Click on that. Listen to it. Maybe you learned something. Maybe it's annoying as shit. Maybe you never listen to me again. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm doing it. Document the journey so that 20 years from now, 10 years from now, even in 1 year from now, let's say I have a product and I'm selling it. I can be like, dude, hey, listen, this is episode 465 on January 26th, because leap year, 2025. You go back and listen to episode 230 where I got my first order and I sold and then you can listen to episode 340 where I sold my first product. And then you can go listen to episode 410 where I ran out of just to document everything. Because like I've said before, how incredible would it be if you could go back and listen to Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or Andy Frisella or Joe Rogan or David Goggins. Listen to them talk like I'm talking right now from day one, where they had nothing, or they had no fame. Nobody knew who they were. Where Kobe had just gotten drafted or whatever the fuck or chosen. What the fuck am I? He just tried out for the high school team, and he made the high school team. Imagine listening to him talk about, man, I can't wait to be in the NBA. I'm working so hard right now, and a lot of people think I'm not good enough. And imagine being able to listen to that on a day-to-day basis. Imagine the last 20 years of that man's life, being able to hear him talk about even just a little bit. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 minutes. I was going to say 2, 3, 4 minutes, but I skipped 3, so I had to compensate. Imagine being able to do that with, just imagine your favorite entrepreneur, your favorite author, your favorite celebrity, your favorite athlete, your favorite writer, whatever the fuck, man. Imagine being able to go back, whatever your fancy is, listening to them on their day one before they were anything, before they had any reason to believe they would ever be anything. Imagine being able to listen to them, their thought process, their limiting beliefs, their self-doubts, everything they got going on in their head. Imagine being able to listen to those on a day-to-day basis from day one, all the way up to where they are now. So whether that's Oprah, whether that's Jim Carrey. Oh, Jim Carrey would be incredible to listen to, dude. Just anybody. So indirectly, I'm saying I'm going to be someone like them one day. And I am fully confident in the fact that that'll happen. I'm just sure that it won't happen for another 10, 20, maybe even 30, maybe even 40 years. But life's going to be hard either way, whether I sit on my ass and do nothing or I work hard as fuck every day and make a lot of sacrifices. May as well work hard and get some shit done, man. Go to bed with a smile on my face as opposed to thinking I'm wasting my life away. I mean, I just did 100 episodes of a podcast that nobody listened to. Nobody even knows I'm doing this. I haven't said one word to anybody. Nobody even knows I completed phase 1 except my immediate family. Nobody knows I still keep up with those habits anyway. I don't go around saying I'm this fucking man of a man and I do all this and I wake up early. I only talk about it if it gets brought up or if I'm trying to explain on the podcast what the fuck I'm doing and why I am what I am and what I'm about. So, guys, holy fucking shit. That is episode 100 of the bq.POV Daily Podcast Show. And I think I'm going to end the show there because I've been sitting in this park for an hour and a half now. And I want to go home and eat. So, and maybe I'll even tell my family that yeah. But here's the thing also. I'm uploading 5 per week. So at the time of recording this right now, I only have 71 episodes uploaded to Spotify and Amazon and all this shit. So if I wanted to catch up, I'd have to upload 30 tonight. I don't think I'm going to do that. So I don't know how I'm going to make a catch. I might actually do that tomorrow or sometime soon. I don't know, because I'm a month ahead. So it'll be mid-March, actually, by the time episode 100 would air. And I don't know. Nobody's listening anyway, so what do I have to lose, right? So I don't know. But guys, that's been the show. That's been the journey. That's been crazy to think that I made it this far. And nobody knows. Nobody's listening. Kind of poetic. Did all this and nobody's listening. Not one ear made it over here to listen to what I have to say. Maybe 15 have. I don't know. But I learned a lot, man. It was cool. It was a good journey. I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about kind of my conversational patterns and how I speak. And I know that when I get passionate about something, I just go off and I'm talking like this and holy shit and yada yada. And then other times I know that I kind of talk quick, and then I'm like, oh, I actually don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going to... And then I'm talking like this, where it's slow and more controlled, more thought out. I'm not saying and like. And I would like to be able to communicate like this with everybody, but a lot of people are impatient fuckers, and they always cut you off, and it gets me upset. And so I would like to speak in this manner and have people know that I'm not done speaking, so do not open your fucking mouth, dude. Getting crispy with them F-bombs, dude, but Jesus. But I learned a lot, man. It's a great experience, and I would suggest or advise anybody who's trying to challenge themselves in that regard to do something like this, you know? Make some rules for yourself, record a podcast, upload the shit. Who cares if anybody hears, and who cares if anybody doesn't? If this is the worst podcast on earth, only 15 people on earth know about it. And that is the random ass people from the UK, Liberia, from, I want to say Egypt. I don't know for sure though. From Missouri, from West Virginia, from Utah. I probably will, they don't even know what I look like because I haven't showed my face. It's an audio recording. I haven't really shared my Instagram handle, which is bq.Use on Instagram. bq.Use. Free product to the first person who can depict what that is. Just one person, though. So if you figure it out, let me know. Send you a free product whenever I get that product. So it won't be for another 8 months. But bootstrapping the whole thing, working 2 jobs, living rent-free right now. Man, working... Shit, man, I only have 24 days off a year now because I'm working every other Sunday. So, and I might even work tomorrow. I have actually yet to hear back from my manager. So anyway, guys, that's the show. I'm going to end it right there. That's episode 100 of the daily, or the beat of the fucking show. So we're gonna end it there. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go to bed knowing that I just did the 100th episode. I'm stroking this off way too much. I'm just very proud of myself, guys. Very cool feeling to know that I did this. So, hard work pays off, huh? So anyway, it's going to be weird tomorrow not having that requirement anymore to keep a secret and or record a 20-minute long show. Because, like I said, small little ones from here on out. So maybe it'll make me more intentful with what I'm trying to say. If I think of an idea, how can I dumb that idea down to a 2-minute show and make room for some ideas and share that so there's some value, you know? So it's exciting. And again, this is kind of like another day one tomorrow, because it's a whole different ball game, a whole different set of ideas and what I'm doing. So I'm going to start tomorrow, because today we did 100 and did that for today. Today's complete. Tomorrow will be episode 101. 101, we're in the hundreds, baby. It's cool, man. Really cool feeling. And yeah, okay, that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me, all 15 of you who definitely didn't stick with me. You heard 60 seconds and peaced out. But to anybody, friends, family, coworkers, whoever you might be that may have actually listened to the first 100, or maybe even this is your first one and this is what you listen to, I appreciate it. It's very cool to think that somebody who knows me personally took the time out of their day to listen to 1 hour, 33 minutes, 43 seconds of this podcast that was all over the place, wasn't really that organized, and talked about a lot of shit that, again, was all over the place. Friends, family, coworkers, whoever you are, thank you for real. People say thank you, and thank you so much, I wouldn't be here I mean, I would be here without you because I did this without anybody. So I would fucking be here without a goddamn person. I would be, because I am. But thank you so much for listening, for real. It's very cool to think that somebody I know, or somebody who knows me, listened. And they listened all the way through. It's very cool. So I appreciate the support. And if you want to do me a solid, share the show with one of your success-minded individuals who's struggling to get the ball rolling. Show them episode 1 that they can just start. But please preface it with the fact that the whole first 100 episodes is ass, and they're all bad, and it's very awkward at a lot of times, and there's a lot of fuck-ups, and there's a lot of bad words that start with a G-A-Y, and a lot of other bad words that start with an F-U-C-K-E-R that are said before they start freaking out. It's the world we live in now. Gotta make sure no one gets offended, bro. If you don't like the shit, don't listen to it. Bro, I'm going to say one more analogy. I'm going to end it with this analogy. If you're walking down the street and you see some dog shit on the sidewalk, who is going to step in that dog shit knowingly and then roll around in it and then complain that the dog shit's there? If you see something in life you don't want to associate with, or you see the shit and you say, oh, that's shit, I'm out. Fuck that. Don't step in it. If you see the shit, you recognize that it's shit, and you walk around it, nothing happens, bro. There's just shit, and you move past it. Why can't we do that in society? You see something you don't like, just walk around it. Somebody says something you don't like, aka there's dog shit on the ground, just keep walking. Just walk past the shit. Somebody says something to you in a comment section that you're stupid or whatever, that's dog shit, walk around the dog shit. Don't entertain the dog shit. Don't step in the dog shit. Don't roll around in the dog shit. People love rolling around in dog shit, dude. It is insane. Anyway, that's the show, guys. That's the 100th show. I've said that a million times now. I'm just very proud. It's surreal that I made it this far. 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 30 seconds long when I end the show, because I'm going to say goodbye. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Proof that you can just start. All you have to do is just be willing to fuck up. Like I just did now. I said it was going to end at 30 seconds, and it is not. Because, so just start. Just start. Whatever it is, just begin whatever it is you want to do now. Figure it out along the way. Go look at my first 7 episodes. Go listen to the first episode. I'm talking like this because I'm very insecure, and I don't know what I'm going to say. And now I'm sitting here dropping F-bombs left and right, saying the G word. Okay, that's it. Seatbelt's on, so you know it's it. Thank you guys so much for listening. It's been awesome. Talk to you soon.